Hi, this is TREPACER, and this is going to be my review of episode 4 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This one is titled I Spy, and it begins with on a train, actually. I think in Sweden somewhere, anyway. It looks like an outdoor, like some kind of a festival, and then you see these strange men dressed in, I guess, sort of like Clockwork Orange, except they had red faces and bowler hats and suits, and you see them marching through the square. People, like I said, there looks like some kind of festival affair, and people are, looking at them. The men are walking straight, not saying a word, not interacting with anybody. And then you see this young black woman. She's looking at them, and then you see she slowly but surely follow. And then they go down into the subway, and then they get on the train, and then she gets on the train with them. And then she looks back at them, and they look at her, and then all of a sudden she smashes, I think, the emergency brake, which causes the train to stop, and everything goes dark. And then all of a sudden you see the lights come back on, and these I guess gentlemen, bowler hats. You see them all basically wiped out, dead, and you see, I think one of them even had his arm ripped off. And then you see, the young black, where she's gone, and then later you find out that this, when S.H.I.E.L.D. comes to investigate, that this was because they have security footage of the young black woman, and she's been a former comrade, someone who got trained under Agent Coulson. Okay, so he's got to try to basically try to find somebody, of course, that they thought was dead. Of course, so they go with the team to investigate and to track this rogue agent down, and they find out, of course, there's been these series of incidents. Okay, and they find out basically that actually she has a camera in her eye, basically, and she gets orders sent to her that she can see, and then, of course, while they monitor her, she's monitoring them, and she actually, I think it's Fitz and Simmons, and what's her name, and Chloe in the van monitoring while Coulson and Ward, go to investigate, and then all of a sudden, while they're monitoring what's going on in the hotel she's staying at, all of a sudden you see, they're looking at the screen, and it flips to a screen of their van, and I think it's Fitz. He does the funny thing where he waves his hand in front of the camera, and of course it's them looking out at themselves, and then of course the rogue agent smashes the van and basically topples over. Okay, and she leaves. And now of course Coulson wants to bring her in, but my favorite May, who's a total badass, she doesn't want, she said she's a rogue agent and she needs to be taken out. Okay, you're too close, Coulson. But Coulson, of course, steadfast, he wants to bring her in, of course, and he discovers that that she's getting taken orders. So of course he really wants to find out who's behind this. So they take turns monitoring the transmission that they get from her camera eye, and of course when Coulson wakes up, he discovers that May has taken off and confronted. He's seen something that can lead her, to the hotel that the rogue agent's staying at. So she goes to confront her, and basically, they're going to have a square. They're going to square off. And the rogue agent tells tells May that it's either going to end one or two ways. I'm going to kill you, or you're going to have to kill me. Or they're going to kill me. There's a kill switch in my eye. Okay, and then they have their little fight, which it didn't last long enough in my opinion. It was okay, but it didn't last as long as I wanted it to last, because I totally want to see May kick ass. She's by far my favorite character. Anyway, of course, and Coulson, of course, he wakes up later and finds out that May is taken off after the rogue agent, and he, of course, comes to the hotel room and winds up shooting his rogue agent with some kind of nerve thing to knock her out. And then, of course, what they do is real ingenious. They actually give the monitoring thing to Agent Ward. He has it in the glasses on the same frequency, so that whoever is controlling, sending the rogue agent the messages will think that she's still in play, but in actuality she's back, on the plane, and where Ward is, what she explains to Coulson how she was on the mission, how she was captured and she was held in a cage for like 4 years, and then finally, they repaired her eyes. She woke up and she could see, and then they sent her on these missions, of course. And of course, Coulson says, we're going to try to find out who's, sending you on these missions to do this and who is it. And then, of course, she gives some little clues about who it is. It's got to be an Englishman because of the phrases that he uses and the old terms and stuff. So they set a trap where they send Ward and Chloe out to, on the next mission, whatever transmission that the next mission that the rogue agent was supposed to do, they go to do, okay, and they wind up basically going to some hotel where they see a bunch of there's a guard and of course after a little there was a funny part where the message that he gets before before Ward goes into where the guard is says seduce him and of course he says yelp and then of course he bluffs his way past but then knocks the guard out and then he goes into this room where you see a bunch of it looks like scientist types and they have a bunch of equations on a board and he stands in front of it and it takes a picture and they said mission over and then he leaves and then of course the alarm the reason they asked him to seduce the guard was because he needed the password. Okay, so once the guard didn't hit the password, the alarm goes off, and then of course Ward is running for his life, and Sky is, driving the van, and he jumps out the window, and they, they take off, and also in the meantime, the twins are trying to, they have to operate on the rogue agent and take out the fake eye, that has the kill switch in it, and of course Simmons doesn't, this is new to her, and she's nervous about doing it. But the rogue agent tells her, just give me local and I'll talk you through it, and which is good. And then, like I say, you see Coulson later. Coulson is tracking with the help of May. He's tracking down where the signal, where the orders, while Ward is on his mission, he's tracking where the orders are coming from. So he goes to instead of of course, May wants to go, but he goes himself, and he tracks the guy down. And of course, when he confronts the guy. All of a sudden you see it, the guy's eye, the kill switch goes off in this guy's eye, and he drops dead. And then, of course, so later they find out that there's, of course, somebody else behind that, that they don't really know, of course. And then, of course, the rogue agent, him and her and Coulson, they say their goodbyes, and she basically thanks Coulson for believing her, believing in her, and she doesn't, of course, she has to go to prison for all the, basically all the crimes she committed, but she doesn't mind. At least now she's free. Okay, so she goes off, and then before she leaves though, she has a conversation with May on her way, before she goes, and she said, there's something different about Coulson. So they began dropping hints about something happened with Coulson, about something, not being quite right with Coulson. So I'm thinking he's got to be a clone or something, or some kind of robot or something. The real Coulson died, and this is just a robot or something, or a clone. That's my guess. Okay, and then of course you have a couple of cute moments, I think, in the beginning of the episode, and then towards the end where Sky and Coulson kind of bond, where she goes off to her, I think she goes into her van that's on the plane, and she has a little private time, and I think she calls him AC. That's the name. I think she called him AC. She didn't call him Coulson. She calls him AC. So this was a good episode. Like cute moments with Fitz and Simmons. Oh yeah, I forgot there was one other towards the end where Fitz and Ward are playing poker. It's a little cute scene, but that much. But this was a decent episode. Like I said, each member of the team actually, contributed to to the overall mission, which is good. And I got to see May kick a little ass, although I would have preferred her to go out on the last thing. I know Coulson went to go do it on his own because I love her. And I'm looking forward to her really going out into the field and kicking total ass, okay, because she's by far my favorite character. So this episode, okay, I like the basic story. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. This is a decent episode. And next week's looks good. Looks like they're gonna have a superhero or even a man-made superhero in the next one. So it should push up the action in this one. And then of course they drop a little hint about, I think it's a total fake out about Sky, being a traitor or something, but I think that's a total fake out. But anyway, let me know what you think of this episode 4, I believe this is. Yeah, episode 4. Let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. This is TREPACER saying so long and take care.